What if everything you've been stressing about, people's opinions, their behaviors, their expectations, could be solved by just 2 words? That's the central idea behind Mel Robbins' transformative book, The Let Them Theory. It's not a complicated philosophy. In fact, it's incredibly simple. But it has the potential to change your life in ways you never imagined. And it starts with letting go. Imagine you're constantly trying to manage the thoughts, reactions, and behaviors of people around you. Maybe you're anxious about what your coworkers think of you. Maybe you're frustrated because your partner doesn't listen, your kids ignore you, or your friends are not showing up the way you expected. That inner tension we feel in these situations is what Mel Robbins wants to help us release. And the way to do that is with the words, let them. Let them talk. Let them doubt you. Let them ignore your text. Let them leave the group chat. Let them have opinions that don't match your values. Let them walk away. Let them stay stuck. Let them think whatever they want. When you say, let them, you shift the power. You stop fighting battles that are not yours. You stop carrying emotional weight that doesn't belong to you. You stop wasting your precious energy trying to manage other people's behavior. And you start reclaiming that energy for yourself, your goals, your peace, your growth. Mel Robbins introduces this theory with the honesty and warmth she's known for. She shares personal stories, like the time she was frustrated by how her adult children were managing their responsibilities. Instead of jumping in to fix everything, she decided to let them. And what happened? She found peace. Her kids grew. Everyone was better off. It wasn't always easy. But it was necessary. This idea is not about giving up or not caring. It's not about being passive or cold. It's about clarity. It's about understanding what is and isn't yours to carry. When you let people be who they are, you stop trying to control them. And in that freedom, you discover something powerful. People will show you exactly who they are. You won't need to guess. You won't need to overanalyze. You'll see the truth more clearly. And that truth helps you decide how to move forward. The let them theory is rooted in ancient wisdom and modern psychology. It aligns with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we can't. It's like a practical, everyday version of the Serenity Prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Robbins takes these age-old concepts and translates them into real-life strategies that anyone can use, in relationships, at work, with family, even with ourselves. Letting people be who they are doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It doesn't mean you don't set boundaries. In fact, it makes setting boundaries easier, because you're no longer operating from fear or control. You're coming from a grounded place, where your decisions are based on values, not reactions. And here's the magic: once you start saying, let them, you unlock another power. Let me focus on what I need. Let me choose peace over chaos. Let me grow into the person I want to be. Let me take the next step, even if others don't understand it. Let me protect my time, my energy, and my purpose. Let me live a life I'm proud of. In this book, Robbins walks you through 8 key areas of life where the let them theory can have the biggest impact. She doesn't just explain the theory, she shows you how to use it. With research, expert insights, and relatable examples, she gives you the mindset tools to stop spinning your wheels and start creating real momentum in your life. We'll dive into those areas in the next part, but for now, pause for a moment. Reflect on what, or who, you've been trying to control. Think about the last time you felt stressed because someone else wasn't acting how you wanted them to. What would happen if, instead of pushing, pleading, or performing, you simply said, let them? This isn't about giving up. It's about stepping up, for yourself. It's about trusting that the right people will stay, the wrong ones will reveal themselves, and you'll have the strength and clarity to handle both. When you let them, you find out who they are. And when you let yourself, you find out who you are. Let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip. Let them unsubscribe. Let them take the wrong path. Let them think they know better. Let them judge. Let them scroll past. Let them try to control things that don't belong to them. While they do that, you'll be doing something better. You'll be healing. You'll be growing. You'll be living in alignment with what matters most. And that's where real power begins, not by controlling others, but by taking back control of your own life. Now that you've started to embrace the "let them" mindset, it's time to look at where this idea has the most impact in your daily life. One of the biggest areas where people waste their emotional energy is relationships. Whether it's your partner, your friends, your parents, or even your coworkers, we often get caught in cycles of trying to change people. We think if we say the right thing, act the right way, or push hard enough, they'll come around. But Mel Robbins reminds us that relationships are mirrors, not molding clay. You don't shape people. You reflect with your choices, your energy, and your boundaries. If someone doesn't text you back, let them. If someone constantly cancels plans, let them. If someone chooses not to support your dreams, let them. Why? Because their actions are not about you. They're about them. When you stop trying to manage their behavior and just observe it, you learn everything you need to know. And when you respond from a place of calm instead of control, you protect your peace. But this doesn't mean you don't care. On the contrary, it means you care enough about yourself to stop trying to earn love where it isn't freely given. You stop overgiving. You stop chasing. You stop over-explaining. You let people show up how they choose to, and then you decide what you want to do with that information. That's what real power looks like. Mel also talks about the trap of comparison. It's so easy to get distracted by what everyone else is doing. Social media makes it worse. Every scroll invites you to measure your life against someone else's highlight reel. But here's the thing, you don't need to let their journey distract you from yours. Let them live their life. Let them post. Let them succeed. Let them fail. Let them try weird trends and make mistakes and live loudly. You stay in your lane. You focus on your goals. You build your confidence not by matching someone else's timeline, but by showing up for your own life every single day. Confidence doesn't come from controlling other people's perception of you. It comes from controlling how you show up for yourself. When you stop managing their opinion, you start building self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation for everything: love, success, inner peace. Another powerful piece of the let them theory is how it helps you overcome fear and self-doubt. So much of our anxiety comes from worrying about what others will think. Will they judge me? Will they approve? Will they accept me? But when you say, let them, you realize that fear is often just your imagination running wild. You don't need to wait for anyone's permission to live boldly. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You need to be true to yourself. Let them think it's strange that you started a business. Let them roll their eyes when you take a social media break. Let them wonder why you stopped drinking, or left that job, or changed your lifestyle. While they're busy wondering, you're busy growing. You're not here to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You're here to stretch into your full potential. Mel Robbins explains how the let them theory also helps you build stronger friendships. When you stop trying to control people, you give them space to be real. You start choosing friends who meet you where you are, who see you, support you, and grow with you, not those who drain you or only show up when it's convenient. Let them flake. Let them ghost. Let them keep choosing chaos. You're building something deeper, connections rooted in mutual respect, not performance. And perhaps one of the most freeing parts of this theory is when you start using it with your own thoughts. That's right, let them apply to your inner critic too. When your mind tells you, you're not good enough, let that thought pass. When it says, you're too late, let it go. When it whispers, you'll fail, let it talk, and then move anyway. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it deserves your attention. Let your thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. You are not your thoughts. You are the person watching them. You also begin to let go of distractions. In a world full of noise, notifications, and non-stop opinions, let them becomes a filter. Let the world keep spinning. Let the headlines shout. Let the influencers influence. While all that noise continues, you can tune into what matters: your values, your goals, your voice. Mel emphasizes the importance of defining success on your own terms. Let them chase money. Let them chase fame. Let them hustle. You get to decide what success looks like for you. Maybe it's building a peaceful home. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's getting healthier, raising kind children, or simply enjoying your morning coffee without anxiety. Whatever it is, let it be yours. This theory isn't a trick or a quick fix. It's a lifelong mindset shift. It's not always easy to practice. There will be times when you want to react, when your ego gets loud, when you want to correct someone or prove your point. But every time you choose peace over performance, you build emotional resilience. You get stronger, calmer, clearer. And the best part? This mindset spreads. When you start letting others be who they are, you give them permission to do the same. You become an example of grounded power. You show others that it's possible to live with intention, even in a chaotic world. So next time you're faced with a situation that makes your stomach tighten, someone doesn't like you, someone criticizes you, someone doesn't meet your expectations, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this something I need to carry? Or can I simply let them? As you lean into this new way of thinking, you'll begin to notice something remarkable: you're calmer. You have more energy. You're no longer trying to fix people or prove yourself in every interaction. And slowly, the world around you begins to shift, not because it has changed, but because your relationship to it has. This is what personal power really feels like. You are no longer handing your peace over to every opinion, mood, or action of someone else. You're rooted in your own choices. You're grounded. Mel Robbins explains that applying the let them theory is also one of the most effective tools in parenting. When your child makes a mistake, let them learn. When they push boundaries, let them grow. Parenting isn't about controlling your child's every move, it's about guiding them with love and letting them build confidence through experience. If your teenager is moody, let them. If your toddler throws a tantrum, let them. This doesn't mean you stop caring or stop teaching. It means you understand that control and love are not the same thing. Real love holds space. Real love is steady, not smothering. This mindset also shows up in leadership. Whether you're managing a team or just trying to inspire people around you, the let them theory reminds you that you can't force change. You can model it. You can embody it. But you can't drag people to a breakthrough. Let them resist. Let them take time. Let them disagree. What you can do is stay focused, clear, and consistent in how you lead. Great leaders don't control. They influence through presence, not pressure. One of the most freeing realizations in this book is that letting people be who they are doesn't mean you have to stay close to them. In fact, this mindset often makes it easier to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. When someone shows you through their actions that they're not capable of supporting your growth, let them stay where they are, and let yourself move on. You're not abandoning them. You're honoring yourself. There's a quiet kind of courage in saying, I release you to your path, and I commit to mine. And while this all sounds powerful, it doesn't mean you'll never feel pain, disappointment, or sadness again. You will. Letting people be who they are doesn't protect you from heartbreak. But it does protect you from unnecessary suffering. You stop replaying arguments in your mind. You stop twisting yourself into knots trying to figure out what went wrong. You stop begging for closure from people who are not capable of giving it. Instead, you find peace in accepting what is. You learn to sit with the discomfort without letting it define you. Mel brings this theory full circle by emphasizing the importance of living with intention. It's not just about letting others do what they want, it's about consciously choosing what you want. What kind of energy do you want to bring into a room? What kind of relationships do you want to build? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Let them scroll. Let them gossip. Let them judge. Let them live by fear. You choose presence. You choose kindness. You choose truth. You choose progress, even when it's slow. You choose your values, even when they go against the crowd. This theory doesn't disconnect you from the world. It connects you more deeply to it, because you're no longer reacting from fear or trying to control outcomes. You're engaging with life from a place of choice. And that choice is everything. It allows you to rest, to breathe, to say no without guilt, to say yes without overthinking. It allows you to forgive, not for their sake, but for your own peace. It allows you to let go of perfection and embrace progress. It allows you to finally feel like your life is yours, not a performance for someone else's approval. So if someone talks behind your back, let them. If they leave you out, let them. If they underestimate you, let them. If they don't understand your healing, your growth, or your dreams, let them. They don't need to understand. You need to keep going. Mel Robbins doesn't just give you permission to let go, she gives you tools. Tools rooted in psychology, neuroscience, and ancient wisdom. She reminds you that this is not selfishness. It's self-respect. It's emotional maturity. It's clarity in action. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. You begin to feel stronger in silence. More focused in chaos. More centered in uncertainty. You stop trying to explain yourself to people who aren't ready to hear. You stop editing your truth. You stop begging for belonging. You become a safe space for yourself. The let them theory doesn't fix your life. It reveals what was never broken to begin with. It brings you back to yourself, to the quiet knowing that your worth isn't up for debate. That your path doesn't need validation. That your joy doesn't require permission. So the next time someone doubts you, disrespects you, or disappoints you, remember this: you don't need to change them. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to convince them. Let them. And keep going. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel and check out the next summary to learn even more.